Hello, and welcome to Upper Echelon Matchmaking Podcast. I'm your host, Shay Primus, certified matchmaker and dating coach. And today I have Tim, the matchmaker, on with me. And Tim, will you please introduce yourself?
I am Tim, the matchmaker. I've been in Atlanta 20 years, doing my thing, and I'm just glad to be here.
Thank you so much for coming. And so if anyone recalls, we did have a scene on Love Match Atlanta,
Yes.
where we came to one of your events, and it was a
Yes.
Meet My Types event.
Yes.
And my castmate said it was witchcraft and some other stuff going on. So let's get into what is it that you really do in your matchmaking business, because it is very different from the rest of our businesses.
Okay, so of course you get, people want what they want, obviously, and they want to be happy in relationships. But a lot of the time they're choosing with the conditional part of their brain, all right? There's a part of the brain that processes logic, as in, what makes sense? I want somebody this height, makes this amount of money, has this type of smile, which is fine. But then there's the inner part of you, the unconditional side of you that just wants what it wants and it needs to be fulfilled. That's the part of you that has to be happy. And a lot of people are not in touch with that side of themselves.
Right.
So I use the natal charts. The natal charts are actually like a map of the soul, of that inner
Absolutely.
self. So once I know your soul, I actually know what really makes you happy. And that matters because people will choose conditionally and find out 3 months later, I'm not happy with this person. No matter how hot they are, no matter how much money they're making, I'm just not fulfilled. And I've seen people who came to my events, they hooked up, but they found that they weren't satisfied. And it's because they're not really dealing with their true types. And that's what I try to match, like type to type, not want to want, but what really fulfills you.
And based off their natal chart.
Based off the natal chart, that gives me that whole map of their inner being, what they really desire, what really makes them laugh, why they want to grow and be fulfilled with someone.
Well, I should have you know that at Upper Echelon, we also evaluate based on the natal chart.
Look at you.
That is one of the pieces of data that I collect in matching my clients. I have my girl, Tamara Angela, and her job is, she's the intuitive consultant on staff with Upper Echelon. Her job is to run people's natal chart, and she can also tell me, based on all of those, astrological things that make us up, who you are and who you'd be most compatible with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so important. A lot of people do not have that inner dialogue going on with themselves to really know what they want. Again, everything is conditioned from TV, from magazines, from what your friends are doing, and they don't really necessarily know what works for them. So I'm here to kind of I help people bridge the gap between what you think you want versus what you really want, and then kind of present that to you. Because at the end of the day, the whole point of relationships, and this is an analogy that I use a lot of the times, if you want a job, just a regular gig, you're just thinking about the immediate, the money, what I can get out of it. But if you're thinking in terms of career, long term, now you're thinking about, what do I really bring to this job? Where is this company going to be in 5 years? How am I going to grow with the company? You start thinking the long game, but people don't do that with relationships. They always think about what they can get out. They have like a gig mentality, and they really need to think about the long term, because it's about growing with someone.
Right.
That's just the point.
Absolutely. And we all want that at our core, somebody to grow with.
We do, even if we don't realize it.
You don't realize it. And sometimes your lust speaks more, than your soul and whatever you're describing. It's mostly like you're looking with your eyes and you're like, this is what I like. This is my type. I like this. Yes. And that person doesn't feed your soul, and that person doesn't feed you long term. It's just like eating a piece of cake right now.
It's cake.
It's cake. It's going to be sweet. It's going to be good to you, but not good for you. And in the long run, you can't survive off cake.
And that's why a lot of people, they're not necessarily relationship ready. They want to be with somebody, but they're not really ready to make the right kind of choices. And part of it is showing them their chart, reintroducing them to their soul and what they really want, and letting them know also that when you have the right type in your life, the right person, your life changes. It gets better. All the things you're trying to fulfill, other people are I don't want to say like, the way I say it is that we are a whole half to somebody else.
A
You
whole
know,
half
we
to
are a
someone
whole
else.
half.
And then when you get with them, you become whole.
You come that like it's like two holes together,
Yeah.
really and truly. And
I love that.
and in between, your two holes is this region of crossover. That's the relationship.
I love that.
And in order to be in that kind of situation, you have to relate on what are we trying to achieve here? What are we growing towards? People don't think of it like that. Again, it's just very short term. What can I get out of this?
What can I get versus what can I give? And at the end of the day, we want to build with each other. You want to come together and you want to build something that's sustainable, that lasts a long time,
And even as a human being, people always talk about the best version of themselves. That's something that needs to be built. And we're all familiar with how you can be with the wrong person and they will take you to hell and not back. Just leave you there.
Lord, I've been there, and I don't want to go back.
So
I've been there.
If we understand people can take us to hell, then people can also raise us
To heaven?
to heaven and beyond.
Ooh,
And
let's do that.
even just as, and this is even just as men are very limited in their capacity in terms of how divine they can be.
Ooh.
Men do not become divine, period, without female energy.
Say that again, Tim. Say it again.
Men do not become divine beings without female energy. They
Yes.
absolutely need it. But again, there's this misunderstanding about what masculine energy is. I gotta like, make money and, she better cook when I get home and I'll fight anybody who wants it. And it's like, it's what masculine energy is all about is creating a perimeter, creating a boundary so that the feminine energy can exist in its own freedom. It's that simple. There isn't that much. Any man that does that for a woman will get heaven and more. But again, people have to have a relationship with their energy, and they're not teaching it. It's not part of the culture. They're just taught, make money, you'll be good. But no, there's more to that.
More to it. It is so much more to it than that. So you help men tap into their masculine energy?
When they listen, yeah, you got to make it attractive to them. Right now, it's not so much of an attractive proposition because the way the society is designed, as a man, you're not rewarded if you have emotional intelligence. You're not rewarded for having empathy. You're rewarded for being a go-getter, be ruthless, and it's like that's not what it is. Men have to tap into the type of feminine energy that they just innately have. It's a dry type of feminine energy. It's not feminine energy, but we have a type of,
because we have both. We have masculine and feminine.
But
all of us.
We have like a dry feminine energy that isn't as luscious as feminine as a female's feminine energy.
Yeah.
And we got to use that to at least step back, calm down, be vulnerable, open up, and receive.
Well, I think that's true for females as well, because with feminine energy, and I always take it back to Oshun, because for me, she is the epitome of feminine energy, and she's the goddess of love and the goddess of prosperity. And I definitely go to her. I look to her as a matchmaker. I feel like she guides me in that aspect. But with Oshun, there's a story where she and all the deity. And if you're not familiar, this is a Nigerian Yoruba story, and there are several Orishas, and Oshun is the female Orisha, and she is just dancing in the river, and she's got her little honey pot, and Igun is upset, and he has run off into the wilderness. And Oshun lures him back out of the woods by just dancing and being her feminine self. She holds up her mirror, she's dancing, she dips her fingers in the honey pot, smears it on Ogun's lips, and brings him out of the wilderness, out of the woods. And that is feminine energy. We can coerce, we can command, we can do all kinds of things when we tap into our true feminine selves.
And it's funny. That same story, in the Kemetic system, it's not Het Heru. It's Het Heru.
Yeah.
She is
Asar Naset.
right, and she is she's that feminine energy, that joyfulness, and there's a side to her that's absolutely rageful. She will
Absolutely.
cut you
We
up
have both
into
sides.
pieces.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, but once she's in that zone where she's just calm and cool, you would be lured out,
Yes,
and then
yes.
she will be your protectress.
Absolutely. So it's the same thing.
It's the same
Yeah,
thing.
but it comes. Yes. So it comes from Kemet, from Egypt, and this story I told you came from Nigeria, but it's the same story.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And women are both. We are, because if you piss Oshun off, she will dry up the land. There will be no water. You will be thirsty. Everything will die without water. So yes, she's the river goddess, and you lure her, you please her with offerings of honey and flowers, and those are the offerings you lay before her. But if you upset her, she will dry it all up. She will set it on fire. Like, it'll be a whole disaster. So yeah, I think women, we encompass both sides, to your point.
And it really is to recognize that, and I speak about this with my friends all the time, that women are magic. They are absolutely magic.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times they tone that down. Essentially, they dumb it down to get guys. Because a lot of guys just are not on that. There's just no capacity to understand it. They're not driven to try and understand what it is. So it's a real pity. And there's that pressure, of course, you got to get a man, got to do the things.
Yeah.
But
the divine feminine is magic, is healing. You get with the right woman, like you said, because we're nurturers. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, we can nurture it and birth it.
Yes.
So you could just be like, hey, Shay, I'm trying to do da-da-da. Then I can add the nurturing aspect to it and grow it. Anything you give a woman, we make better.
And this is what men are missing out on. When people talk about wanting power couples, that's how you do it.
Yep.
But then as a guy, you have to work on that spark.
Yes.
You have to work on creating that lightning.
Yes.
Because once you interject that, Oshun will take that and create paradise for you.
Create it, yes.
But bring a spark, bro.
Yes.
Just bring a spark.
But that's the thing that men need to do. And that's when we say they need to lead. You've got to come with some idea.
Yes.
You got to have something that we can nurture, that we can grow.
Yes.
You got to bring something to the table.
Absolutely.
But I do think this concept that we're talking about with the divine masculine and the divine feminine, we just don't understand it very well. And now it looks like we kind of have a war of the sexes, a battle of the sexes. A lot of times on the internet, that's what you see. Because neither one of us are in our right place. We're not operating from a divine feminine perspective. Men are operating from a divine masculine. And so then because we should not be at war with each other. We need to come together.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Again, society's done this to us. It's not impossible to get back in tune with that. It's just a matter of reading. All you have to have is the desire to want more than just a regular situation where, okay, we got the house, we're paying bills, we got kids, okay, what next?
Yeah.
And you get the situation where people do, the regular Cosby household, when the kids leave and you're no longer looking after them, you're kind of like looking at each other like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
What are we doing? And you see a whole generation of people in their 40s and 50s, like, our marriage is over. Like, there's no kids.
Yeah.
The house is paid. Mm-hmm. What are we working on? And what they could be working on is their growth. Mm-hmm. That's still creating that magic. Mm-hmm. But they don't know how to do that. Mm-hmm. So I just try and tell people that there is so much more. And I use their charts because you can show somebody on their chart, this is your promise.
I wish I had asked you to pull my chart before, because you did it like a couple years ago. I wish I had asked you to pull it up, then we could talk about it.
Are you sure about that, Shay?
I'm sure about it.
Okay, because it's right here.
Well, let's do it. Let's get to because I think the people don't know what you're talking about.
I think
we got to show them what we're talking about.
I mean, it's really a natal chart is a promise. It's everything you are going to be. So I can pull up someone's natal chart and show them this is who you are growing into. This is what you already are by nature, but it's there for you to fulfill it.
Do you think it's the pact we made with Creator before we came here? Like, I'm going to do these things?
Absolutely. And it's a choice. Yes, it's a choice that we made, that for our ongoing soulful development, because the soul's eternal, but these lives are not. But so we come here choosing, okay, what type of experience do I need to be more of a rounded soul? And so because we're removed from it, it's almost like playing with Ken and Barbie. You'll put them through all kinds of situations just because. But now we are the dolls. We are the avatars. We're in these bodies, and we forget why we're here. And now we're suffering because we don't know.
Yeah, and you're far away from your purpose.
Yes,
absolutely. I agree. I believe that, and like I said, I believe astrology is a data point that we need to look at as far as matching. Now, I do still match, from a traditional perspective, but I look at that as a piece. Like, this is a piece. Like, it tells me the type of person that this person needs to be matched with. It tells me who they are at their core, especially when we get into their Venus. Venus and Scorpio. I'm a Venus and Scorpio, but when we look at your Venus sign, that tells me who you are in a relationship.
Yeah, definitely. All that, the moon, the Venus, etc. One of the other things I look at also is the midheaven, because that is the highest point in your chart. So it's your self-actualization, what you're actually working towards. And your partner has to be aligned with that. If they are not, you cannot long-term the relationship, because we are all programmed to fulfill ourselves. We are all programmed to want what we want. And this is why sometimes in a relationship, if you're not happy, you'll feel suffocated. You will have to leave. You cannot be faithful to someone. We are only faithful to ourselves. But if somebody is aligned with your life purpose, they're aligned with your growth, then that person will just be as important to you as your purpose. And that way you'll stay with them forever. So anyone who's thinking long term, your midheavens absolutely have to be aligned.
Nice. Okay. I don't even know that I've seen my midheaven, so I have to go back
to
Tamara.
It's there.
I have to go back to Tamara and be like, girl, what's the midheaven? What is mine? You know her though, right?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
How do you know her?
This was like when I first started, when I first started doing events, I was meeting a lot of people, and there was one girl I met, a mutual friend, and she was like, "Oh, you need to talk to Tamara. She's, she does charts and whatnot." So, we got in touch with each other, and we actually did each other's charts.
Nice.
And it's just nice when somebody just totally removed from you kind of confirms everything that you're working towards for yourself. Yeah. And so it really helped talking to her.
Good. So, she and I went to school together. We went to Clark Atlanta.
Wow.
Yes, and that's my girl. But yeah, I feel like we're aligned in the work that we're trying to do and the way that we're going about doing it. So how did you get started? Like, how did you get in this field? How did you decide you want to do astrology, use astrology to match?
I had to fix my own life. It was something that I was just doing as an interest. And once I started realizing about, it uncovered my patterns, then I started thinking about, well, I know there's a pattern to me. So what happens if someone else has a pattern that's compatible? So I started looking into that. And that's when I realized that, yes, there's actually 4 types of personality pattern that absolutely match mine. So once I realized that, then I'm like, well, if I can do this for me, I can do this for anybody. So once I had the whole system down.
You created a system.
I created a system of 16 love types. The two of the 4 that go with you are your soulmates. The other 2 are like your twin flames. So yeah, 2 are very much like you. They tend to be your best friends, family members, the people that just get you. And the other 2 are like the ones you create power with, the ones that, what you don't know, they know.
Really?
Right. Those are your soulmates. So everybody is drawn to that. And then you start realizing that everybody is naturally drawn to that. If you take a chart of somebody and their friends, you'll see that 90% of their friends are their actual types.
Nice.
That only gets thrown out the window when you start looking at abs and, when you start looking only at the physical, all that methodology goes out the window. Because think about it. The average relationship is like, 18 months, right? Divorce rates stupid high.
Yeah.
But when you think about friends,
65, 70%.
Right. But when you think about friends,
they last for a long time.
It lasts for a long,
That's really
long
a good theory.
time.
I have a girlfriend, and we've been friends 20 years, But I know what, I haven't even looked at ours, but I know we're compatible.
Yes.
I know I can call her and be like, this is what I'm thinking. And she'll pick it through and go, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? Try this, try this. And she just like beats my idea up. And then when she spits it back out, I have a laid out plan. I only call her with my ideas because she can do that. Nobody else can do that for me.
See, that's the thing, again, when you got this situation where there's freedom. We give freedom to our friends. We're not like, where are you? You
Yes.
better get. We don't go through our
You're
friend's
so
phone.
right. And don't care what they do with their
Right.
relationships. Like, it doesn't impact my relationship with her. You're absolutely right.
You never try to manipulate to keep them there.
No.
Yet because you're good to them and you give to them, they always come. They don't go anywhere.
Yes.
That's how you keep somebody, by letting go of them.
Whoa. So are you saying relationships should not be monogamous?
No, I'm saying we should stop manipulating each other and tricking each other into staying. Let it be the other person's choice. How do you do that? Create an environment that makes them want to be there, rather than trying to trap them there or guilt them into staying because we're insecure, we have abandonment issues.
Right.
So with friends, we don't introduce that, And when you do have the right kind of friends, like you said, there's this, between types, there's a subtext of conversation going on. If I say what I say, you'll know what I mean, regardless of how I say it,
Right.
if you're compatible types. But if you're not compatible types, there's this disconnect between what you say and what you mean. It's like, well, I think we should eat bread for breakfast. Oh, so you're saying that my food ain't good enough? No, that's not what I said. And you get these kind of
And you have
misunderstandings.
a conflict with communication.
Yes, and
so
that
let me
happens.
ask you, Tim, fast forward, are you single?
Yes and no.
What does that mean? Because you can't be both.
Okay. The reason why I know about relationships is because I create them all the time. I'm in love all the time, right now, like buzzing with it. And the friends and the people I have in my life, there's numerous of them, 20 years plus, 10 years plus. You have to know how to create relationships. And as a man, creating relationships with the right kind of women, these are friendships, but I'm fed. I am absolutely fed
From your friendships.
from my friendships. And you have to know how to maintain them. It takes work. It's no different from the work you have in a relationship. You have to understand somebody. You have to know that what you connect on, what you're working towards, and to constantly feed the reason why you know each other. So you're constantly validating the relationship and yourselves.
But you're not in a sexual relationship with your friends.
No. Even though when I'm not in a physically sexual relationship, there's a constant back and forth of sexual energy. Absolutely. We give that off. That's spirit. Holy Spirit is sexual energy. It's energy that creates. It manifests things. It's the stuff of miracles.
Of course.
Life is a miracle. So when you have that type of interaction with someone, you absolutely get fulfilled. You integrating the physical part, the intercourse, I mean, that just depends on circumstance. If you're with somebody that you're just trying to make your one and only, then sure, you create that kind of bond. But either way, relationships are not dependent on intercourse.
Okay.
You have to know what you're doing to make relationships.
Right, I'm with all that.
Yeah.
Do you have someone that you're having intercourse with, that you're in a relationship with, that you're getting fulfilled with?
Not
in
at
that
this
way?
very moment.
That was my question. With all this other stuff that you just said, you could have just said, no, Shay, I'm single. But you gave me this whole runaround about how you getting fulfilled spiritually.
A lot of people misunderstand that, because if you're single, they're like, well, how are you going to be a matchmaker?
No, I'm a single matchmaker, so that wasn't even my angle.
Okay.
So you just jumped the gun because you assumed that I was going to be judging you about being single. I'm single, and I'm proud of it. I date a lot. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I have so much fun dating. The reason I asked you if you were single is because I have a proposition for you.
Uh-oh.
Since you're a single matchmaker and I'm a single matchmaker, I think I should match you and you should match me. What do you think about that? We can use our own methods. Use your method to match me. I'll use my method to match you. And let's just see how that goes.
I'll match you. What time is it? I'll match you by 11 p.m.
Today? You're gonna introduce me to somebody today by 11 p.m.
If there's people, like, if Okay, so this is what I do.
Okay.
This is what I do.
Okay, let's get into it.
Once you know somebody's type, you know their patterns. You know their triggers. There are things that their inner being cannot resist. Even if they don't understand their inner being, it's an instinctual thing. They're going to be drawn to specific things. Your types are going to be drawn to the things that are within you. What I do with my people is that I draw those things out and I get you to put those things in your dating app. All of us, and these are very specific things that only your types will get. Once they see that on your profile, bing, 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 bing.
App?
Any dating app.
I'm not online. I'm not doing dating.
That is one way of getting them.
So how are you matching them without you? Do you have your own database of singles that you could pull from?
No, what it is that everybody is hot enough to attract so much attention that once they're coming in, all you got to do is that, okay, Tim, that one. Yep, they're your type. This is the score. This is what your relationship is built on. These are your pillars. This is what you need to talk about. And these are the questions that you need to ask. Go, come back. You're together? Excellent. Next. This is how it works.
So you don't match them with people. You just give them the tools to match themselves, essentially.
I mean, once they show me who they want to be with, because at the end of the day, anybody who's serious about having a relationship, they have to put in some work. They have to go out and do the things. They have to get into their sexiness. They have to project their energy. Otherwise, and it's happened in the past. I've done the work, used my charisma, got the attention of guys, giving them the spiel. They introduce them to the girl, and then she's too shy to talk. And it's like, Lord have mercy, come on.
But that's what matchmaking is. We make introductions. So we do whatever we do to figure out who's compatible, and then we introduce them to the people they're compatible with.
I always feel that you have to be ready to put yourself out there and want it. There's got to be a confidence. Confidence is sexy.
Well, that's where dating coaching comes in. So then I coach people to be more confident.
Yeah.
I coach them on what to say.
Yes.
I coach them on what to do once they get with the person. So I do the dating coaching. I do the matchmaking. So it sounds like to me you're doing this first part of collecting the data to understand who they're compatible with.
Then I coach them to go and get it. And then once they've got the people coming in, then it's like, all they got to do is pick. Because ultimately, I do want them to have that freedom of choice. Like, pick who you want. Again, their biggest problem is, I'm not finding the right ones. I'm like, if you do this, if you go to these places, if you say these things, your types are going to fall out of the ceiling.
Let's just go back to my challenge. So anyway, however you do it, I'm not going to critique it. You match me, I'll match you. Let's do it.
It's a deal. It's a deal. We are.
Let's do it. I mean, because I don't understand. I got you on the first part, the way you collect the data, but I'm like, you lost me when you go, you're not making the introduction. They're just supposed to come to me through the universe.
Yeah, because when you're in your power, when you're connected with your own energy and you're putting it out there, and I've kind of coached you to do that, you'll attract yours. You'll absolutely attract yours. It's less what the work is actually just getting in tune with yourself. That's the work. Once you're that, it comes. And this does not have to be hard, especially when you put that effort in. You go out or somebody presents something to you, then it doesn't work. And it's like, I've seen people just get so despondent. I don't want to try no more. It's like, well, why don't you use your magic? That's easier. Just use your magic. So this is what I want you to use your magic so you can really realize that the first person that is probably your type, you're like, you know what? I think I can do better. And I'm like, yeah, I think you can too. I want you to have the best. Not just anybody, not just somebody. Even if they're your type, I rank your types. I score them. You can get low scoring types. And you'll be like, okay, Tim, thanks. I'm like, are you sure? Because if we can do better here. You're going to get the absolute best.
Hey, let's go. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm down to try it. And I'll take you through my whole process. And I have a sex therapist. I have a regular therapist. I have the astrologer on. I have a photo shoot. I have a whole process. I'll take you through my whole process. You take me through your whole process. And let's see.
That's interesting.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Let's see how this goes. I have to do a lifestyle assessment with you where I hang out with you and see how you live. Because I have to match that person, not this representative Tim. I need to know who you are, what you like to eat, what you like to do. So I'll take you through my whole process. It is not going to happen by 11 p.m. It's a longer process, but let's just see how it goes. I'm down to try. You down to try it?
Yeah.
I'll take you through the upper echelon matchmaking process.
Yeah, these are very, very different approaches. Absolutely. I'm definitely meeting people where they are so that they can use, their there's so much power in their hands with their phone, with their camera, and how to project their life through pictures. That is so key. So, a different approach, but nonetheless, they're both powerful, and I can't complain. If I'm gonna find someone at the end of it, I'll drink to that.
Let's do it. And we will have a drink to it. That's gonna be what we're gonna have a drink to it. When you match me with my person, I match you with yours, we're gonna have a whole double date and we'll see how it's going.
Oh wow.
And we have to film it on Instagram so the folks can see.
Yes.
But no, if you down, I'm down. Let's try it. I've never done this before with anybody.
Never. It's just good, and this is something that, regardless of the approach, people need to do something and tap into more than just this hit and hope strategy.
Hit and hope. I like it.
Yeah, it's not good. There's a lot of people definitely getting into transactional dating, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you're looking for, that's fine. But if you want something deeper and all you know is, what's your credit score? Like somebody's credit score does not define how they are in a relationship. Neither does it.
But that is still important because it helps you know what you can do together now or what you need to fix for the future. I'm a Capricorn, so that's going to be something that we're going to discuss.
Yes, but still the first step is relate, because it is a relationship, and again, once you're with the right person, a lot of people talk about I just want to have fun with somebody. Well, if you're with the right person, you know the saying, it's not what you do, it's who you do it with. Like your friends, regardless of all the lavish things you do, you can still you can just walk up and down the stairs and have so much jokes because it's just being around them. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily need the backdrop of everything else when you're with the right people. Okay. And so that is something that a lot of people overlook, that when you're with the right person, stuff is gonna come in. And I'm not saying that this is by no means trying to be with your type and your type is a bum, because there is the turbulent version of your type and the assertive version of your type. The turbulent version of your type, you can still be attracted to them because there is a pattern, but their pattern is disrupted, as in there's a disconnect between who they think they are and who they really are. They're not aligned with their type. So as much as you be attracted to them, they're dysfunctional. And those are the kind of people you got to leave them alone. I only match you with the assertive version of your type. That way, this is somebody who is fully functional, who is manifesting, who is in their power, and you can do anything with them, just as long as you're assertive. That's your power couple. No regulars.
Let's do it. Match me with my power couple, and I'll match you with your upper echelon match, and we'll go from there.
I'm here for it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Tim. I'm looking forward. Challenge is on. Bring it. And my man can't be broke. Just make sure you know that.
Nah, he's not gonna be broke.
Okay.
He's not gonna be broke.
Make sure you know.
Just be ready for Oshun to come and visit you, and
I definitely come with Oshun energy, like always. So let's do it.
Blessings.
Thank you so much for being on our show tonight, Tim, and tune in next time, Upper Echelon Podcast. Hey, we got something special for you guys. This is a behind the scenes at Upper Echelon Podcast. I've got Tim, the matchmaker. He just pulled up my chart and he is going in because, we have a challenge where he's going to match me and I'm going to match him. So I'll swing it to you, Tim. What you see? What you got?
Okay. All right. So some people know that you get two different ways of reading charts. One's one's kind of like where you're coming from, and one's where you're going to. I do the types of chart in terms of where you're going to.
Okay.
So in terms of where you're going to, your energy is absolutely shifting to a Sagittarian energy. It's a very fiery, expansive, searching for knowledge, being a sage, queen mother of wisdom type of energy. This is you. You are a Sag. You have that drive, and it's in your 7th house of relationships. So your relationships, you like talking about love. You like exploring your love. You like variations of love. You don't want to be bored in love.
Absolutely.
This is you. This is how you make your decisions. The sun represents your will. So how you choose things is this going to move my life forward? Is this going to grow me? In terms of when you talk about that Capricorn energy, it is an earth energy, absolutely. And you are, when it comes, you got Virgo in your 4th house with Pluto. So you are, how does somebody put it? A kitchen witch.
I am a kitchen witch.
See? Have we had this conversation before?
No, we have not. But I'm absolutely a kitchen witch.
This is what you are when it comes to domestic power in the realm of the home. You are a transformer of things, and you've always been that way. There is order in your environments. Order. Anyone you're with has to not disrupt that order or bring to it. So that is what I'm seeing. When it comes to being comfortable, you are very nurturing and will want to be nurtured, and you have Jupiter as your energy, like bring all that luxury, bring it all, bring it more. I want to be supremely comfortable.
Yes.
That is you, and you make people feel really, really good. You know how to do that.
Yes.
Your ascendant, how you project yourself. You're a Gemini ascendant.
Yeah, that's the same. I am still Gemini.
Okay,
rising. Yes.
there you go.
So I wonder why that's the same.
So you come with like the logic, the talk, just you really make sure you hit people with the intelligence. And once they get past that, that's when they get the fire. I'll heat you up, bro.
No, you see where he got to be smart too, because I can't do no dumb dudes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When we're talking about your highest self, your midheaven is actually in Aquarius. So your midheaven is all about humanity. You want to help people. You want to help people. And it's funny enough, because when it comes to your love type, you are a contributor. You contribute to people. And so as a contributor, there are only certain types of people that are going to get along with you. So when I pull this up, the types that get on with you, I've got it right here. And let me see, your top 4. So as a contributor, okay, this is you. The first one is going to be, and the thing is, this is going to reflect the people in your life that you're close with. Okay. So the first one is, come on, let's hurry up.
This is so interesting.
Okay, so your 4 type, the first one is the chameleon. The chameleon is very easygoing, very easygoing. They are not going to impinge on your freedom. They're not going to tell you what to do. They love being free. They're sensitive people. They're very accommodating. As you're a contributor, you don't need anybody that's going to take advantage of you. The chameleon isn't that kind of person. So that's why you guys get along, because you will give. Now, regardless of what you talk about wanting, you're actually comfortable giving.
Too comfortable. That's the problem. That's why I had to create this boundary.
Yes. So the chameleon will not take liberties with that. Next is the innovator. The innovator is the kind of person, that's your intelligence one. They will take your ideas and they'll always come up with things.
People like that. Yes.
Right.
Love that.
The next one is the entertainer. These ones are, they are very ostentatious, very flashy.
Yes, flamboyant.
I love
it.
and it's fun because not everyone likes that, but these are your types.
No, I'm flamboyant. We could be flamboyant together.
And what it is that the difference is that sure, they will show out and do everything big style, but they need earth. They're essentially like fire beings. They need that grounding. You provide that to them. You see them, like when everyone else is like, oh my God, they're so amazing. you see them for who they are. And that's why they never leave you, because you know who they are.
Yes, I love that.
And the show person is your last one, and they're very similar to the entertainer. So those are your types. Anyone I match you with is going to be one of these four. Any other type, it's not gonna work. You'll get on, they'll be associates, but you're trying to do that power thing.
I need one of those.
You need one of
All right,
these.
so we have a challenge, y'all. As you know, I am going to match Tim. My process is a little bit more intensive and extensive, but I'm gonna match him. He's gonna match me, and we're gonna, may the best one win.
Absolutely.
And then we'll do a double date, and we'll see how it's going.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm done.
let's get it on. Thank you so much for joining us.